Before Chernobyl exploded, witnesses would see a massive black winged creature watching from above. Then it vanished. Coincidence or warning? Hi, my name is Brittany and welcome back or welcome to my channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss anything. On April 26, 1986, a nuclear chain reaction had caused a power surge in the number 4 reactor. There had been a catastrophic steam explosion that resulted in a fire, which caused a series of additional explosions followed by a nuclear meltdown. 2 explosions destroyed the reactor building, triggering the worst nuclear disaster the world had ever seen. The explosions themselves had killed 100 people, but some mixed estimates puts the death toll as high as 60,000. 336,000 people would be evacuated and resettled. After the meltdown, Soviet helicopters were dispatched to the scene. They were equipped with special firefighting gear, and the helicopter would circle the plant, dropping clay, sand, lead, and other chemicals to extinguish the fire. The majority of the fire would be put out by 5 a.m., while the fire in reactor 4 continued for several more hours. The firefighters didn't know what the true cause of the fire was. They simply thought that it was an electrical fire, and in turn received massive doses of radiation, which led to many of their deaths. The workers who had survived the plant's initial explosion and fire would later die of radiation poisoning, but not before stating what they had seen. It was a large, black, bird-like creature with a 20-foot wingspan that had glided through the smoke that was pouring from the reactor. But the creature hadn't just been spotted during the explosion, but also several days leading up to it. The creature was seen by many of the workers in the control room. In early April of 1986, before the explosion, one worker in the control room went to his supervisor to report a strange creature that he had seen flying high above the reactor on his way into work. Another employee spoke of seeing a winged animal in the sky, more like a man than a bird. The sightings would continue, and more would talk about this strange creature. Other employees who were unaware of others' experiences would also talk of this similar creature, and the description started to become more and more specific. The closer the creature got, the stranger it appeared. A man's body, but with a 20-foot wingspan, headless, but had burning red eyes. The people who saw it would complain of headaches, nightmares, and strange phone calls from unknown, threatening voices. The creature became known as the Black Bird of Chernobyl. Then came April 26, just hours before the explosion. There were more sightings of the creature, and then during the explosion, the creature had been seen flying through the smoke. Sightings seemed to have stopped once the fire was out, and the Black Bird of Chernobyl was never seen again. After the disaster, reports of the sightings of this strange creature would start to spread. So let's dive in to some of the theories. It's impossible to talk about the Black Bird of Chernobyl without acknowledging the similarities to another creature that was sighted 20 years prior in the United States. In 1967, in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, 2 young couples had told the police that they had seen a large flying creature with a man's body. 2 days later, 2 firemen had seen the same creature with burning red eyes. More than 100 locals had reported seeing what they had described as a 6-foot-tall beast covered in hair or feathers with a wingspan of 6 to 10 feet and bright, glowing red eyes. That December, a chain suspension bridge that crossed the Ohio River from Point Pleasant to Gallipolis would crash into the river during peak hour, killing 46 people. Some people had said that they had seen the Mothman on the bridge just before the collapse. Many people believe that the Mothman, just like the Black Bird of Chernobyl, are harbingers of doom. The Mothman was also seen in Germany on September 10, 1978, when a mine would collapse in Freiburg, killing several miners. However, more than 20 miners were supposed to work that day, but they had been scared away by the sight of a Mothman-like creature perched at the entrance of the mine. The creature would become known as the Freiburg Shrieker. Reports of nightmares and threatening phone calls had happened, with sightings of both the Mothman and the Black Bird of Chernobyl. I do have a more in-depth video about the Mothman, so make sure to go check that out after you finish this video. A less accepted theory is that the Black Bird of Chernobyl was a misidentification of a black stork, which is an endangered species living in southern Eurasia. The black stork is almost 3 feet tall and has a wingspan of almost 6 feet. This theory doesn't account for the menacing phone calls though, or disturbing nightmares. Also, the physical description of Black Bird of Chernobyl doesn't really fit the image of the black stork. Honestly, I think it's a little bit of a reach. While some see the Mothman and the Black Bird of Chernobyl as a herald of doom, others believe that they're some sort of time traveler that keeps returning to sudden, unexpected events, sudden, unexpected disasters. Maybe these creatures serve as a warning. Maybe they bring on the disaster, or maybe they're simply drawn to the energy of the disasters. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. In the meantime, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and until my next one, I love you guys. Bye.